about it. Wait, we have a minute and a half according to 13 seconds. I lied to you now.
13 seconds?
And of course he's leaving. Of course he's leaving. Good morning, it's the Todd and Erin morning stream here on GephardtDaily.com. Speaking of which, Bill Gephardt was actually in here, and he actually looked mostly conscious. What was he doing at this hour?
I think he slept here.
That's unnatural.
I think so. Oh, you know what we need this morning?
Yes, the Morning Mountain Cam.
Oh yeah, go there first.
That would be good too. It's brought to you by Brio Technologies, your experts in lighting, sound, and video. You can see it's a rather glorious day. They say more snow showers today and tomorrow, and now Todd's gonna go somewhere else. Today we have a really serious controversy, and apparently it's why adding milk with scrambled eggs is wrong, and words were exchanged on Facebook between listeners. It was pretty entertaining. Also, the sheer gall of someone who drives into someone's garage, loads up their car, and then just drives off again. Hopefully you can help us.
Go to the iPad. It's the licorice cam.
The licorice cam? Where is it? I'll buy the licorice, of course.
It isn't up. Never mind.
There's the licorice cam.
You have it?
That looks delicious.
It's not even real food.
You have this argument, and I don't agree with you.
Right.
Daisy, don't side with him. Licorice is food.
At 11. All right.
So yeah, some really interesting stuff today, and an absolutely beautiful story about a kid with Downs who is now a multimillionaire. Thanks to socks.
He's a what?
He's a multimillionaire thanks to socks.
No kidding.
I adore this kid. I want to interview him so badly. And then, of course, we've got gossip from Sundance. Who's dating who? Oh, and the Razzies just came out last night. So the crappiest.
Explain what that is.
Razzies is the direct counterpart of the Oscars. They have it on the night after the Oscars, and it's essentially the worst movies of the year versus the best.
Talk about that. There's something. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Shall we begin with driving into the open garage and stealing everything?
What a witch.
What?
Okay,
this sheer gall of this.
Brazen.
Brazen is actually a very good
Brazen,
word.
not raisin. Brazen.
Brazen. So
watch this.
Opens garage door.
Watch this. Open garage.
And this is their interior cam, obviously.
Right.
Look how nice and tidy it is. That's nothing like our garage.
It's nice to have.
Nothing at all.
It's nice to have an organized garage so the thieves can sort through easier.
And you see her there in her hideous gray hoodie, and she's basically cleans out the garage, puts everything in her car, backs out, and just leaves.
Tools. And the car is parked right in front. That white car in the left corner?
Yeah, that's her car.
That's her car.
She just loaded it up like it was just fine. The sheer nerve of that just constantly amazes me, but okay. But there you go.
Close your garage.
So, in any case, there's some close-ups on Gephardt Daily. If you want to take a look and see if you know this obnoxious person, because that's...
Once again, that is the incorrect video camera angle. That's the camera that says, yep, they stole stuff.
Well, I'm hoping they could find maybe a license plate on the car or something.
You got to put a camera at eye level and hide it someplace.
Somewhere lower where they bend over to...
Right. If a baseball cap is your disguise, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, especially if it works. Oh, well, so...
Oh, by the way...
The scrambled egg thing, when did that get weird?
That the robbery happened at 6500 West, 7500 South in that area, West Jordan. All right, scrambled eggs. Posted this yesterday.
What were you thinking? Because,
milk or no milk?
There's fist fights.
Okay, there's over 150 comments on this for some reason. Well, I didn't even count today. About absolutely no. What kind of barbarian are you? No.
What kind of a sick freak? And yet then people put up like videos from Gordon Ramsay, to bolster their argument.
And you know how you cook scrambled eggs? With a big effing pan, according to Gordon Ramsay.
Well, that's a given, I think. So we understand that. But no, it was just really weird. There were two people that were talking with each other. One said, yes, milk, and then also a dash of paprika. And the other person said, you must clearly be insane, and I'm not sure why you're allowed a spatula in your house. I'm like, that's good.
Here's a person who says fluffy if you add pancake mix to it. Little bit of pancake mix.
Why would you do that?
I have no idea.
That one seems troubling to me.
Basically, the message here is the fact that if you add something to the eggs, it dilutes their flavor and makes them colorless and flavorless.
Actually, I love Marianne's because she says, now I'm hungry. The incredible edible egg. She actually put up a picture and she said, I actually had to take photos to show my husband that I could actually hard boil an egg without exploding it. And she put this picture up and she's proudly holding a pan and there's 2 boiled eggs in it. There's people like me. We have to take our pleasure and our pride where we can, okay?
Let's talk about that really quick. Mm-hmm. You made scrambled eggs for Zoe last night. Mm-hmm. What happened?
What do you mean? They were scrambled.
And burnt. The pan was burnt.
On the exterior. I don't understand that. And these are the heavy-duty Calphalon ones I just got you.
On the inside of the pan.
No, it wasn't.
Where the eggs were.
No, they weren't.
How dry were they?
They were fine.
Who said you could go in the kitchen?
Our daughter wanted I can make scrambled eggs. Was this where this all started? Because I actually had the gall to make scrambled eggs for my daughter.
They were scrambled eggs like.
She doesn't like them runny like you do, because that's disgusting.
I just cook with another setting besides high.
Why would you do that? It takes longer.
Right? Such a pretty girl.
It takes longer.
All right. Utah, we're in the news again. 3 spots on what?
They call this the Performing Index. Now, here's the deal. It's the Milken Institute Best Performing Cities. And it's actually pretty interesting. So how they basically do this is fact-based metrics,
Oh,
which
look
makes
at
it
us.
sound more official.
Yeah.
It's 9 categories to evaluate relative growth, including increase in jobs, wages, technology output over time, measures high-tech fields that are higher than the national average. Guess who's number 1 in the nation?
For who?
For
the whole thing?
Yeah, for the whole
Us?
thing. No, Provo Orem.
Provo Orem.
Provo Orem.
What are you guys doing
they
down
have that
there?
massive technology influx.
Ice cream?
And ice cream.
Ice cream?
And Jell-O.
No Jell-O, that's gone.
Really? Now it's more like the funeral potatoes, which
Yeah.
are actually infinitely
We're
more
gonna go more
satisfying.
savory.
No, I thought that was really cool. Salt Lake City ranked number 10, which is rather impressive.
Out of the world?
Yeah, and then in the out of the country. And then
That
in
is the world.
small cities category, St. George was number 2. I know, right? We're smarter than we thought we were.
No, not some of us.
Well, I didn't mean us. I meant in a
Us.
generalized
Yeah.
we.
We're all smart.
They called Utah County a technology hotbed.
Look at you guys.
You're a hotbed.
Now, if you can just learn how to drive on the freeway.
Where did that come from? We're
It's time to be
celebrating-
truthful, Erin.
No, we're celebrating their awesome. You don't.
They are, but
These are.
for some reason, once you drive south and get around the point of the mountain, something happens to you people. And I don't know what it is. But suddenly you have someone being the hall monitor in the left-hand lane.
You know that this isn't. We're not like talking about a state across the country. This is actually Utah County, which is right next to Salt Lake County, which is like within 5 minutes of us at this time. So you're really not speaking of an entire different land.
Right, yes, we
This
are.
is still
Yes.
here.
Yes. They know we love them,
Stop doing that.
but they need to be disciplined. They do. And then until you get to Route 6 down in Springville, whatever it is, then it's fine.
Did you have cough medicine this morning?
Don't judge.
All right. So anyway, congratulations to Salt Lake City and down to Provo Orem. We're so much smarter than we thought.
All right, coming up. Oh my gosh. Oh, guy goes viral for doing something nice. Didn't know about it.
It was wonderful.
And now he's being buried in something. We'll tell you what it is coming up.
First of all, let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Always Black Friday. Always Black Friday, 12th Street in Ogden. 30 to 75% off every day. Also by the Denali Performance Clinic. If you've been dealing with migraines for years or joint injury and back pain, why? You can get this fixed at the Denali Performance Clinic and without opioids. And All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They have a winter special where they can refurbish your furnace and even add in an air scrubber. This is a perfect time to call. AllUtahPlumbing.com. Daisy, my darling, what is going on today?
Good morning, everyone. Here's what's making news on Tuesday, January 23rd on GephartDaily.com. The Elko County Sheriff's Office believes an aerial photo shows the crash site of a small plane that was headed from California to Salt Lake City on January 1st and never arrived. Investigators believe the photo shows the wreckage was near Nevada's Ruby Mountains, near Pearl Peak, which is about 20 miles southeast of Elko and Interstate 80. Sheriff's officials have identified the missing pilot as 26-year-old Paul Graham of Mississippi. Crews have been aware of the site for several days, but are waiting for the winter storms to break before they attempt a recovery. The Unified Police Department has released 6 mugshots of 33-year-old Justin Gary Llewellyn. He is the man Unified Police officials say fired on 2 police officers, shot a Riverton resident in the chest, and stole the man's pickup in a second car before escaping the police containment area on Saturday. The shooting victim is expected to recover. The 6 mugshots show Llewellyn with different haircuts and facial hair, and police are hoping the photos will make it easier for anyone seeing Llewellyn to recognize him. Llewellyn has an extensive criminal history, and the mugshots are from arrests in Salt Lake County only. And the Utah Attorney General's office has announced it will not appeal a judge's decision to dismiss charges against the San Juan sheriff, Jeff Eldridge, and 2 of his subordinates. The 3 had been accused of harassing another department employee by pretending to fire a gun at that person, making the empty gun click while they were behind the person. The Attorney General's office also charged that the Sheriff Department officials did not cooperate in the harassment investigation that followed. The Attorney General's office, in its statement on Monday, said it believed it could have prevailed in the appeal, but felt taxpayers' money could be better spent elsewhere. The office also said it had ordered training in firearm safety and de-escalation for the sheriff. And time now for your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's top audio-visual specialists. After a few flurries Monday night, we're settling into a few days of cold and overcast weather, with daytime highs in the low to mid-40s for the next few days. For parents who choose their battles with their kids, snow is most likely on Thursday and Friday of this week. So those are the best days to beg your teens not to wear shorts to school. That's it for now. For more news and weather 24/7, go to GetPartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
All right, thank you, Daisy. I got to tell you, all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, they've got something going on right now. If you're interested in this, you're going to replace your furnace and your AC unit. You do that together because they work together. If you do that, you're going to save $2,000. Plus, they're going to throw in an air scrubber because inside your house is even sometimes worse than inversion. So they're going to do that, and they're also, so by the way, that's going to add up to $3,200 in savings, which basically pays for the furnace. If you want more information, go to allutahplumbing.com. All right, time for Tell Me Something Good.
I love this picture. Can you show it? Because he is the sweetest kid ever.
He is the sweetest kid ever. So anyway, what he does is, oh, by the way, Tell Me Something Good is brought to you by
Always Black Friday, where everything is 30 to 75% off every day. They're up on 12th Street in Ogden, and it's a brand new store.
All right, so here we go. 19-year-old Frederick White. So he decided he was going to start doing something quietly. He just started doing it. 19 years old, and it's not eating Tide Pods, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah, it's not as cool as that.
So he is basically in line at a store. He's got like 6 or 7
it's
jackets.
Like a Goodwill, right?
Yeah, he's got 6 or 7 jackets. Some guy behind him, Jim Glasgow, he's like, what are you doing? He was curious, and he struck up a conversation. And the 19-year-old said, well, this is kind of a thing I do, and I buy coats and I give them to the homeless.
Which is beautiful and logical and wow.
Well, and that ended the conversation, and everybody was like, oh, that's cool. Everybody went their separate ways. Now, White's situation is somebody took a picture of him.
It was actually Jim Glasgow, and he sent it to his daughter saying, look how inspiring this is. This is this amazing kid, and this is what happened. So she posted on her Facebook. It went viral, and the next time Frederick heard about it was when one of the TV stations called him going, this is so beautiful. What have you done? He's like, what are you talking about?
How did you find me?
They're like, haven't you seen this? You're everywhere. So, and his main thing was, oh, they took a picture of me. This is so embarrassing.
And he's doing the thing that everyone is doing around the country. Not everyone, but if you ever do, and it's happening in Salt Lake too, here's the nice guy.
What a sweet guy.
But what he does with the jackets, I love this.
Well,
and you've seen it. You've seen it. He wraps them and zips them up around telephone poles. He hangs them on fences, and he puts a note on and said, I am not lost. If you need this jacket and it fits, or you know someone who needs it, please take it.
Someone did a yarn bombing down in Liberty Park here in Salt Lake City where they had knitted all these hats and gloves and scarves. I mean, that was the thing that was most beautiful to me. And I'm talking like 100 at least of them. And can you imagine how much time that took? So some knitting club, we obviously got together and did this. The thing I like best is that it's like really a gift of love. It's like, this is for me. It's hand knitted. It's hand done. It's another thing they do with the girls down at the Teddy Bear Den, where this is where girls from lower income, maybe they don't have the same support that they need. They get points by going to well baby visits and going to all of their prenatal stuff and nursing and all those different things. And they can shop at the store. And they say the first thing that always goes out every time are handmade blankets, because there's something about that your baby isn't a blanket that was made for them.
Right.
It's a huge deal.
Did your mom knit?
She was a sewer.
My mom was a ferocious knitter.
Yes, she is fabulous.
And I suddenly realized what that was. You know the spinners? Mm-hmm. And they keep you busy and they keep your hands busy? Knitting.
That was the more productive version of the spinner, basically.
The knitting that actually does something.
That makes good sense. By the way, we wanted to say thank you. Jennifer just told me she had a wonderful time at Christopher's over the weekend.
Cool.
She said it was amazing.
How could you not? You could go there depressed.
There were certain conversations about dessert that made me want to put my head down on the table because it was incredible.
That's my impression
We
of the
would
steak.
love to send you there for dinner for 4. You can bring friends you haven't combined with for a long time, or maybe talk to your children again without their iPhones out, because a steak at Christopher's is worth putting your phone down for. So all you have to do to enter to win is just drop a comment on the show today, and then you're automatically entered. We draw on Friday, and voila, you're done.
All right. Hey, coming up next, what a great story about this. It's a gentleman who has Down syndrome, and he is rocking the extra chromosome. Well, I'm not going to ruin it. It's a great story. It's coming up.
Bad things happen to good people, but you can get your credit back on track and get a reliable automobile by giving them a call. 801-404-7201. And also by Columbus Travel with spectacular deals on cruises and all-inclusive vacations. Go to columbusvacations.com. And all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where they have a winter special that they can check out your furnace and make sure that it's operating efficiently, saving you hundreds of dollars in energy bills. Just go to allutahplumbing.com. Did you know that you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and GephartDaily.com any time of the day or night?
At Always Black Friday, we love a good deal. We buy new and used products at a discount so we can pass on the savings to you. And we're Gephardt approved. From electronics to clothing to appliances. If you want it, we have it at discount prices. Visit our eBay store or come to our warehouse at 865 West 12th Street in Ogden. Always Black Friday, where you can find Black Friday deals all year round.
Happy Black Friday!
Well, they wasted no time. The legislature got in, yesterday? The day before. They started working.
Monday, yeah.
Already, what's that?
Monday, yesterday.
Monday. And you also, already, they've pulled a couple different things. They have 500 things to look at, by the way. Wow. 500 things. That's
the ones that I always hate, the meaningless resolutions. It's like, why are you wasting time on that when we have budget things like where they're in, we resolve to like families. We like families. It's like, okay, that's good. Where it's like, it's National Cheese Whiz on a Cracker Month. And it's like, okay, that's...
Right. The official Utah belt. When did that come up?
Actually, I want a belt. I think we should have it.
We should do that.
We do have an official dog.
Do we?
I think it was a golden retriever. Can't remember.
Well, we got the Dutch oven. We got the Ruger. I think it's the Ruger 9mm is the official gun.
Utah State gun.
Yeah, they should have a vest now, bulletproof vest to
Seems
go
only
along
fair.
With the gun.
And then the medical kit, the official Utah State medical kit when you shoot yourself in the foot.
Right.
So that's
you need
good
that.
too.
What else do we have? We have the bird. We have the tree. Sago lily is the flower. Tree is the Colorado blue spruce from another state.
Well, we had it too. They were just
sense.
unfair and named it first, so they stole it. But
Then we got a seagull. We got that. Elk, I think, or deer. Elk. I think elk is the animal, the mammal, and then.
Do we have a Utah State fish?
Yes, it's
Is it
the
the
rainbow trout.
Okay. Nice. Look at you.
I know, right?
We should run a quiz on this.
This is what takes up all the smart space. in my brain.
This is why we can't work a doorbell or tie our shoes, but we can tell you the elk is the
This
Utah
is like
state
your hard
mammal.
drive in your computer. It's all used up, and I need to resync. So anyway, they've started out. My favorite one, and I know this is in Tooele. I think it was Tooele, and their representative came up with a bill, and it was to allow you to shoot stray cats, feral cats.
That was bountiful.
What?
What the cats ever do to you?
What?
What the cats?
What's up with you?
That's what the Humane Society is here for.
Right?
Get a free cage. You borrow it from the Humane Society. You go catch the cats. You take them down to the Humane Society.
They neuter them, and then they bring them back and release them in the same area. And I know that sounds crazy, but the cats are wild and they can't be calmed down. But putting them back means they're not going to reproduce.
Mice population down, huh?
Cats not producing babies down.
Well, they
It's
started out with a super
catch and release, like
super
fishing.
controversial one.
Okay,
Super,
what do you
super
got?
controversial.
What do you got?
Republican Representative Carrie-Ann Lisenby of Clearfield wants to bar doctors from performing abortions sought because of a diagnosis of Down syndrome. Now,
Oh my gosh.
the legislative lawyers are already warning there's a high probability the court will find the law unconstitutional.
That guy's rocking it.
Hi, sweet boy. But this is an actual trend where women will, particularly when they're in their 30s, will get an amniocentesis and they will check and see if there's a possibility of Downs.
When
You and I had to have an amniocentesis for the twins.
right, but a lot of people do,
Mm-hmm.
and they just went in. They did all the measurements and making sure everything's going well. And one of the measurements they used was the back of the neck. I remember that
Mm-hmm.
very specifically watching, and she said this should be at this stage, should be at this size, and I was just like,
Why at the back of the neck?
wow. And the fact that you can tell if something, is amiss, but
And that is, with Downs, you would see a thicker skin at the back
stuff,
of the neck.
yeah.
So there is a trend, not even a trend, this is a practice that's gone on for 20, 30 years of aborting a fetus if you see a child who has Downs. This is the vast minority.
Europe, it seems. I've been reading
that there
little
were
bits.
there's bigger issues with it there.
Bigger issues there.
In any case, what she is saying, though, that should outlaw that should prevent doctors from being able to perform the procedure, if that is specifically the reason. And the only I will withhold judgment in every possible way because I have to. I'm a mom, but I also have to give everybody the right to choose.
Right.
But I sit there and look and go, do you think that is the worst thing that is going to happen?
Right.
Do you really think that is the worst thing that's
true.
ever going to happen with
That's
you?
true. But you know
With
what?
your children.
Everyone makes their own decisions.
And they have to.
But
You
it's
have to give them
interesting that came up.
So women seeking the abortion wouldn't be charged, but a handful of other states have tried to pass similar laws, but almost every one of them has been nailed instantly with a legal challenge. Planned Parenthood said House Bill 205 is about restricting access to termination, not protecting those with Down syndrome. The decision to terminate a pregnancy is deeply personal and a sometimes complex decision that must be left to a woman in consultation with her family, her faith, and her healthcare provider. It's interesting, and once again, I can totally.
And then you came across this story,
But yeah, and
which I think is
this one I thought
amazing.
this was such a joyful into this because that was like the worst story I'm going to read of the week. I already know it, and I'm telling you right now, I barely held it together. But this one makes me love him so much. John Cronin, let me introduce you. Pull up your socks. This is so cool. It's the key to his entrepreneurial success. Now, back in 2016, the 21-year-old told his dad, Mark, that he wanted to start a business when he graduated from high school, but he wasn't sure what kind.
Right.
Now, John has Down syndrome. And his father, John, says he's the light of my life.
Do we have a picture of John?
And the first thing that John thought about is maybe a food truck, and then his dad, Mark, says, you can't cook. And he goes, okay, well, there's that. And
For no reason except for he's a lousy cook.
So eventually they settled on socks. He said that John has always worn crazy and colorful socks. It's something that he loved.
John's crazy socks.
So we suggested we should sell socks. And John says socks are funny, creative, and colorful. They let me be me.
Right.
And so they copyrighted John's Crazy Socks. Now here's the deal. They've been in business for 1 year.
1 year.
Well, actually, probably a year and a half now. They've made $1.4 million in revenue. They've
Shut
raised over
up.
$30,000 for charity, and they have shipped socks to customers, including Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau,
Oh, funny.
your man crush,
Yeah.
and former U.S. President George H.W. Bush.
That's funny.
It's an online store. They have 1,400 different kinds of socks, everything from cats and dogs to barbecues to Donald Trump. Every order is shipped the same day with a pack of sweets and a handwritten thank you note. And John says, I will even deliver them myself if you live nearby.
What?
And
How many has he sold?
so they have, and John is wonderfully creative. He comes up with initiatives like the Monday Madness Mystery Bag, where you never know what kind of socks you're going to get, or the Sock of the Month Club. But
Where do they go online?
you go to John's Crazy Socks. So
There
they
you go.
donate 55% of all profits to Special Olympics, which is something that John still competes in, and does awareness socks as well for National Down Syndrome Society and the Autism Society of America.
Cool.
So it just goes to show, and one of our friends whose son was born with Downs, and they were not aware of it, and they were talking to his doctor, like, where do we go? What happens now? And he says, there's no limit. He says, it's what you expect he's going to be capable of doing. And
Cool.
you see that boy now today, and he's exactly like John.
The millionaire.
It's very cool.
More than a millionaire. He sold 1.5, right?
In one freaking year!
So they're what, $5 bucks? Five
Yeah, well,
times
and you think about
5
it.
million?
Yeah.
More than that?
And think about it. If you found a funny pair of cute or adorable socks, you would pay $5 for them, sure.
Awesome.
So it's a great affordable luxury or a great affordable gift. It's genius, I
Uh-oh.
think.
Uh-oh.
Tell me.
Another
Is this another ill-advised
another
promise?
athlete is in trouble. I'm sorry to say that Lane Johnson, wide receiver for the Eagles, after they stomped Minnesota Vikings the other day. By the way, the Eagles were an underdog, by the way. I don't know if
Totally,
you knew
no one
that.
expected them to win.
And
no.
now they're going to play the Patriots in the Super Bowl. The problem is that Lane here said if he won and they got the trophy,
For the Super Bowl.
no, for right now, for qualifying for the Super Bowl, that he was going to buy everyone in Minnesota a beer. No, wait, it wasn't Minnesota. It was Philadelphia.
There's a lot of people in Philadelphia. It's one of the top 20 cities in the nation. I don't know if Ling remembered that in his natural exuberance. Because who wouldn't be happy at such a glorious event? But that's a lot of beer. That's a lot of beer.
So anyway, so it was for the Super Bowl. You're right with that look you just gave me. According to the Census Bureau, 1,526,006 people live in Philadelphia.
Well, on the bright side, more than 380,000 of them are under 18. So, those guys aren't going to get any. And then you figure maybe half of the rest of the 1.15 million probably don't like beer or,
They will drink the beer.
I don't
They
like
will
beer.
because it's part of the whole
I
thing.
don't like beer. There's
Lane
no...
Johnson, you seen him?
He
He
could-
buys you a beer. You're going to drink the beer. He will thump you good.
That's a lot of beer.
So how many people are we thinking here now?
Probably somewhere around 750 to 800,000.
800,000. Okay,
That's a lot.
800,000. And let's say the beer's only $3 or $4.
Like he gets a
It has
discount
to-
for bulk buy.
It has to be happy hour. That's a lot of beer. That's a lot of money.
At this point, his wife is going, please don't let us win the Super Bowl. Please
They
don't.
have to win. They have to. That's funny. I'll buy you all a beer.
Well, it's a natural exuberance.
He will never have to buy a beer the rest of his life.
Now, I absolutely love this story about the new Navy ship because it's...
Oh,
it
no.
was-
It's fascinating.
No, it's fast and nimble and it's super secret and it's like a spy ship. It can be invisible.
You're
It's
talking
like stealth,
some stuff.
Like you will never see it coming.
It's just
Except for you can now because it's stuck.
it's stuck.
So,
Yeah.
explain.
It was commissioned like a month ago. There it is. Look, it's stealthy.
It's super
ready to go. That's an old picture.
It sure is because it's...
Montreal. It's up in Montreal, and it froze.
It iced into the harbor and apparently the engines are not strong enough to free it.
You can't bash certain boats into ice. It's not good. So the USS Little Rock is stuck there. It got stuck on Christmas Eve. It's a St. Lawrence Seaway. And when the ice is there, you cannot maneuver it, and it's dangerous. And so they have to sit and wait with their entire crew.
Their nimble, super secret stealth ship.
Frozen.
Say that 5 times.
Isn't it Admiral Byrd who went to the North Pole with a ship and it got iced in and the ice crushed it?
and they were all kind of eating each other. And
They
stuff.
had to eat each other.
There weren't any penguins. They
There
had no
weren't
choice.
there weren't any dogs left. That's for sure. Yeah, it's a $440 million ship,
It's a bargain.
and it's.
Has Wi-Fi, so it was the extra bit for the $440 million.
They brought in heaters. They brought in all this stuff.
They tried an icebreaker, I know, and it
They
didn't work
tried
either.
to get to it,
One of
and
those
they
big
can't.
ice-breaking ships that chews everything up.
Well, thank goodness it's stealthy. Thank goodness.
It's almost like it's not there if you close your eyes.
All right. So coming up, what do we got?
This is pretty funny. We've got Hollywood Connection, and
Razzies.
I can't even imagine how
Razzies.
awkward it would be to be in Hollywood and everyone you date is reported and people you don't date, and then you have to see their ex-wife and you're like, I didn't date her. So anyway, we'll tell you who next. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you'll find out that you can get a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600. Fink & McGregor, also by the Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, you can schedule an appointment and find out some amazing options for pain-free removal of varicose veins and spider veins. Your legs can look great again with the Vein Clinic. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. They also have a brand new store up in Ogden now. If you'd like to reach them, you can go to blackdiamondexperts.com. So Jeff, you do mortgages, right?
I do.
How do you do?
Well, you go to our website, 4minutemortgage.com, fill out the application. We'll call you within 1 business day. The whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
We went to the bank
They got really personal.
and went through all of our personal records and all of our finances.
And then there was that little deal about the $8,000 closing costs.
Took like 4 months.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right, it's brought to you by Hollywood Connection is brought to you by Connect Heating and Air. If you've never been to their website, it's utahheatingandcooling.com. They can set up maintenance schedules for like commercial buildings, so you don't have to worry about anything. But Hollywood Connection, there were a couple of awesome ones. Olivia Munn, you had a vague crush on her for a while. Not a huge crush, like a medium level crush.
I don't know who we're talking.
Video's in.
All right,
All right, thanks.
Olivia Munn?
yeah.
No, you totally dug her.
Do we have a picture of her?
There is a picture of Olivia
right.
Munn, but
Richard was just running.
apparently it's pretty sad.
There she is.
See, she's
No.
ridiculously beautiful.
Don't know.
Oh, for hell's sake! Yes, you
I
did.
got nothing there.
Hey, you guys,
Daisy.
Hi.
just in case you want them, Oscar nominations just came out. And
Did you just highlight it?
Yeah, that's
highlighted-
directing, picture,
look.
actor, and
Highlight
You're
it
the
for
Actress.
us.
best ever.
just in case anyone wants to know.
Thank
Kind of
you.
no surprises,
Nice.
Basically, this is a list of movies we haven't seen yet.
but yeah.
Oh, good.
All right, let's do this. Let's do the stories first, and then come back to this.
Let's forget Olivia. This is more interesting. Okay.
Okay. Sorry,
Academy
Olivia.
Awards, Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro, yay, for Shape of Water.
Haven't seen
Greta
that.
Gerwig for Lady Bird. I would root
Haven't
for her
seen
just
that.
on principle because it's a female director and they get nothing. Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, saw that coming.
Haven't
Jordan
seen
Peele
it.
for Get Out. Best Picture, Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, The Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Now that's been getting a ton of notice, like from the Screen Actors Guild and Golden Globe Awards.
The movies we've seen is Paddington. We've seen Trolls. We've seen Coco. We've seen Moana. We've seen
That's pretty much it.
pretty much rocking it. If there's a category for kids animated movies,
We've got
we
it
got
down.
nailed.
Actors in the leading role, Timothée Chalamet, Call Me By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis, Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya, Get Out. I'm so happy for Get Out. They deserve this. Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire. Denzel's awesome. Actresses in a leading role, Sally Hawkins, The Shape of Water. Our big push.
We've had 2 dates to go see this movie.
I know.
And Erin and I have very few dates because of our celebrity lifestyle.
Most of our dates are actually when we're working. That's pretty much it.
So that's one of the movies. That's the first movie I want to see on that list.
Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, nominated for Best Actress. This is the story of Tonya Harding we talked about? Best Actress.
They said it's good, and I'm like, I hate the subject matter.
Interesting. We'll see where that goes, but that's pretty cool.
Should we talk about the Razzies?
Because now that we've told you about
the good ones,
the good films, the meaningful films, the beautiful films of titles that none of us recognize.
Right.
I want to tell you about the worst, and this is from the Razzies.
May I explain the Razzies?
Please,
the
I wish you
Razzies, the categories are the same, except for it's the worst. It's the worst award that they give out.
And they usually do the show, for instance, they do the Academy Awards on Sunday, they do the Razzie Awards on Saturday. Only one person has ever turned up to accept an award, and that was actually Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock went in front of all the people, stood up at the podium, and accepted the award.
She was Worst Actress, and I can't remember which film it was, but she was even joking when they nominated. She goes, if I win, I'll totally
Worst
show
Picture, I think, too.
It was epic.
But I remember she went up and she goes, I will take this trophy. And she said, but, and I can't believe she said this, I want you to give the movie another chance. And the crowd starts laughing. She goes, seriously?
She's totally the woman you would expect to do that, too.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think Mark Wahlberg's going to be there.
They couldn't believe that she showed up.
Yeah, I don't think Mark Wahlberg's showing up. Transformers The Last Night led the field with 9 for the Golden Raspberry Awards. And 50 Shades Darker, this will shock you, got 8 Razzie Awards. And the movie picked up 7.
Spank me crazy.
And Baywatch and the Emoji Movie tied for 4. These are the top 5 movies for the worst picture of 2017. It was kind of interesting. Worst Actress, Katherine Heigl, Dakota Johnson for 50 Shades Darker. Who saw that coming? Jennifer Lawrence for Mother. That was a weird movie. Tyler Perry for Boo 2, A Medea Halloween, and Emma Watson for The Circle. Short list for Worst Actor, Tom Cruise for The Mummy. The most entertaining thing about The Mummy is that he found out it was going to be a bomb. I mean, because you see the precursors, and he refused to do any advanced promotion work for it. So basically, it was the 2 younger actors who have like this much of a role in it.
And they had to travel around and see everybody and tell them what a great movie.
It's going to be great.
Lying.
And Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise, who were, of course, the title stars, refused to have anything to do with it.
No one.
So that's going to be good. No. Johnny Depp, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Jamie Dornan for 50 Shades Darker. And Mark Wahlberg for Transformers.
Johnny Depp for what?
The Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Is that the one I just watched?
You've watched it 3 times in a row now. Is it that you're trying to watch all the pieces of it, or you're just interested in the movie?
I missed a couple here, and by the time I was watching this movie, and Bloom and what's her face,
Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley,
they weren't in it,
which is kind of
until
crucial.
the end, and then they walk up and they kiss, and it was like, well, that must have been a good gig. Like, we dress up, we walk out, we kiss, give me the money, I'm out of here. Johnny Depp was trying to carry it himself. The visuals are great, but
he had a couple of like younger support actors again, who probably also went out and did all the advanced.
It is so hard. I can't imagine if you're doing series of the same movie, how to make it fresh, what things to carry over. 50 Shades of Grey is a great example. So you had 50 Shades of Grey, and then you had this one, which is titled what?
50 Shades Darker, and then there's the last one, which I guess is 50 Shades Super Black or something.
I have got the next one.
Okay.
I have got it. I know they're searching for it, and I've got it. It's 50 Shades of... Ow!
I will not criticize anyone for enjoying it, and if that's your guilty pleasure, that's awesome. But I tried to read the first book because it was such a huge buzz at the time, and I had to give up because I was so offended. Not because of the subject matter, because really, who cares? It's because I was so offended by the horrible grammar and the insipid dialogue that I couldn't read anymore. And I threw it across the room, and Todd went, "What did they say? What was so horrible?" And I went, "She doesn't know how to. She can't spell. Wasn't there anyone who helped her with spelling?" So I think they cleaned up the second book. But
remember when it came out, we were flying someplace, and we went to the airport, and they had it in the bookstore and stuff. And I remember walking down the aisle, and there was like 3 women who had the book, and were obviously opening it for the first time, and they were like this, and I'm walking down the hallway, and I remember about an hour into the flight, I walked forward to use the restroom, and then on my way back, I noticed the 3 women, and they were more like this. ashamed the title had to be covered, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm really reading this now." Yeah.
Oh no! If you're gonna read it, enjoy it. But yeah, I was offended by the grammar. And you don't have an 18-year-old girl who says things like, "I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage." Sorry.
Yeah, because you're tied up. What's the duct tape all about, mister? Disadvantage. Yeah, what's the ball gag for? All right.
Okay, we stop.
Should I stop now?
Let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. All you have to do is go to fink-mcgregor.com. They have some amazing options for you. Anything you can imagine, it can be done within a month. Also, by To Liberate a Man, you can free yourself from adult addiction for good. Reclaim your life, your self-esteem, and your family. Just go to liberateaman.com. And by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Brand new place up in Ogden, so they're even more available to you in Weber and Davis County. BlackDiamondExpert.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on?
Thank you, Todd and Erin. Here's what's making national and world news headlines on Tuesday, January 23rd on Gephardt Daily. Congress passed legislation to reopen the government Monday night, but the 2.5-week spending agreement doesn't resolve an immigration issue that led to the federal shutdown. The House voted in favor of the bill funding the government through February 8th, extending the Children's Health Insurance Program for 6 years and delaying 3 Obamacare taxes. House members also agreed with a Senate resolution to pay federal workers through the shutdown. The deal is a short-term fix, and negotiations on immigration and federal spending will continue as the next deadline approaches. The Trump administration on Monday imposed a 30% tariff on solar panels and washing machines, drawing mixed reactions from manufacturers of those products. The move is expected to cause upheaval in the $28 billion industry, which imports 80% of its products abroad, mostly Asian countries including Malaysia, Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, and China. Officials say Trump approved the tariffs after being advised that increased foreign imports of washers and solar cells and modules are a substantial cause of serious injury to domestic manufacturers. The tariffs will last 4 years and gradually decrease to 15% after the first year. And a former nurse in Germany who is already serving a life sentence for the deaths of 2 patients has been charged with killing an additional 97 patients in 2 hospitals. Officials say Niels Hogel was jailed in February of 2015 for 2 deaths and several attempts to kill intensive care patients at a hospital in northern Germany. Authorities said the nurse would give patients heart medication and other drugs and prompt overdoses and cardiac crisis so he could be the one to resuscitate them. Prosecutors said they looked into 500 patient files, exhumed 134 bodies from 67 separate cemeteries, and questioned the former nurse 6 times during the investigation. And now time for a look at your Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's premier audio-visual specialists. After a few flurries Monday night, we're settling into a few days of cold and overcast weather, with daytime highs in the low to mid-40s for the next few days and lows in the 20s. For parents who choose their battles with their kids, snow is most likely on Thursday and Friday of this week, so those are the best 2 days to beg your teens not to wear shorts to school. That's it for now. For more news 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com. For now, Todd, back to you.
Thank you, my dear Daisy. Black Diamond Experts. Okay, I keep hinting about the expert part because that's really the nicest part of the whole title, because essentially you want someone who's coming to your house to know what they're doing. And when it comes to electric, plumbing, heating, and air, these guys do. They can install, they can swap out equipment, they can put everything back together, and they can even show you how things are supposed to work, like changing the filter monthly. I mean, this is stuff that none of us really know, and they do, and they don't mind telling you about it. And also the nice thing is 24/7, if you have a problem, they will come to you. You can see trucks driving all up and down the valley every minute of the day and night, usually with a very sleepy driver, but at least he knows what he's doing, and he'll show up at your house or at your business. So just go to blackdiamondexpert.com. They can even set up a maintenance schedule for you so you don't even have to think about it. Huh? Pretty good. Blackdiamondexpert.com. Now, John Huntsman Jr. is 57 years old. He has the distinguished gray sheen.
You know, fighting. We saw him. He walked by our house once with his lovely wife.
Okay.
So anyway, fighting cancer, not his. for the world. Huntsman, he's part of that kind of grouping.
Lost
And
his mother, yeah.
then he got the worst job in the world, and that was to be the ambassador to Russia.
It's not the worst job.
It
but
is
it's
the
gotta
worst
be-
job in the world.
It's got to be the most awkward job in the world for sure.
It's just.
Hey, I know we got all this stuff going on.
I know,
between
we're
us
telling
and
you,
this, and then he
sorry,
said,
the
"You go
election,
say
we
it,
have
man."
that, and then
Yeah.
the collusion thing,
Here,
and then.
I-
But hi, how are you?
My wife made you a cake, so let's talk.
It's got to be the worst. It's got to be the worst situation to be in because everyone knows the other's position on this.
It's all fairly well documented. Yeah.
It reminds me of, I like history a little, John Adams, President of the United States, way back when, had to go meet the King of England.
That was after the
after
revolution.
we became a country, and they were still ticked about it, you know.
Yeah, I could picture that.
And remember him
happening.
having to walk into this huge room, and they set it up this way.
Oh yeah, to
The
intimidate.
king was
and-
standing next to his throne, leaning on it, and John Adams had to walk across this like gymnasium, come over, and he had to bow 5 times.
Why 5?
I don't know, but he had to. And every time when he was practicing, the guy was coaching him, and he's like, he bowed, you know, just like a normal bow. He's just like, oh, that's really good. And the guy goes, no, you have to get really low. And he got like his head like was 2 feet off the ground anyway.
No, they practiced
Humiliation.
curtsies where women would touch the ground with their forehead, and that was considered a magnificent curtsy, a sweeping curtsy where you would. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. So anyway, you could see Huntsman walking in, and there they are, the Russians. He's on their turf.
Putin, and he's,
So,
Putin.
does he give up? No, my friends. What does he do? He immerses himself in the culture.
Literally in this particular
Right?
case.
Go ahead.
This is pretty amazing. I actually don't have the story.
Oh,
You
do
have
I?
it if you want to give it to me. But
I don't have it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, John Huntsman Jr. It was.
Okay. So
Here
here he
he
is
is.
in Russia, and they're on the
This is
river.
the thing. They all go in and they dunk themselves in the
Do you
river.
notice the guys behind him don't have shirts on?
And it's part of I guess it's part of the culture, but it's also sort of part of the manly man.
Oh my gosh, he's in the water.
And
It is
he's
cold.
dipped himself in there, and you look at the expression in his face, which is essentially, "I want to die right now.
He went
I
under
absolutely need to die right now."
3 times.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You want to talk shrinkage?
Oh my gosh, that poor man.
I've been in the pool.
And it says, "Can I get back out now?"
Have you ever done that? Have you ever jumped in the
Yes.
cold water?
Yes.
Where? When?
I did it twice. I did it here in the Great Salt Lake, and I did it once back
Ew, the
east.
Great Salt Lake. Ew.
Both times were that first shot that hit you in the face. I understand why people go so fast to hypothermia because it feels like someone punched you in the face. It's just like,
you have a instinctual gasp
yeah.
that people worry about because when you hit the water, you're like this, and you have to really watch that. You can't just dive in, even for sport.
That poor man. And then I have huge admiration for him, though, because this is the distinguished ambassador for the United States, and he gets out and he's all bare-chested and like, "How you doing?" He carried it. He carried it
He
like a
did
boss.
carry it.
And I would
He's in pretty good
Look at
shape.
that. Yeah,
57, right?
Yeah. I thought he did great. And of course, Mary Kay's laughing uncontrollably.
That
which
is hilarious.
that makes me love her even more.
We
So he
used to
survived.
do. We the coldest thing I've done is in Maine. The Finns came through and lived there, and so they brought the wet saunas with them, and so it
The
became
hot rocks, and you pour water and
on the top of a
steam,
wood
yeah.
stove because it's Maine. And you go in there, and it's 128,000 degrees, and you sit there and you sweat. And then once you get hot enough, which is about 20 minutes, you run outside and dive in the snow. And you roll around.
Maybe the extra heat makes it worth it, was it?
You are like superheated, and you run out and you dive into the snow.
Was it refreshing?
Yes. And then you roll over and you go, oh, still good. And the snow goes places like, and then you roll over again. And that's when you realize it was a bad stinking idea because you can't run fast enough back into that hot room.
Lurching desperately.
And when you go out and dive in the snow, you hear your pores slamming shut. I think that's why people do it. Yeah. I'm not big on the shock thing.
All right, coming up next, now, let's say that Elvis, the beloved Elvis,
Oh, yeah.
the king,
Something for
actually
sale.
drank out of a Dixie cup. What would that be worth?
We'll
we
tell
will
you.
tell you next. The Todd and Erin morning stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink and McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com. We're back. Good morning, Todd and Erin morning stream here on GetPartDaily.com.
Oh.
Wow, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Richard, did you do that? That's gorgeous.
Someone did.
Someone's having hypothermia
That's really
right
pretty.
now.
Oh. Remember when it used to snow here?
We still have some snow.
We don't have snow. The mountains don't have a snowpack.
Whatever. Okay, William Rutger, who's 61 of Tarpon Springs in Florida,
It's a Florida story.
is a minor celebrity known for one thing.
What is it?
He's the author of a 2009 book called The Alcoholic's Guide to Adventure. The book is a lighthearted jaunt into the sublime world of drunken decadence.
That is like the worst thing I've heard.
According to the listing on Amazon. Well, this very same man apparently they didn't find it as lighthearted as he expected because he had called 911 and told the emergency dispatcher that his wife had become a black widow spider. So the deputies said, look, this isn't funny, sir. Please don't clog up the 911 phone. However, once again, he called 911 complaining about the fact that no one had come to rescue him
He's a rascal.
from the black widow spider. So
What a ne'er-do-well.
at this point, the deputies showed up at his house where he was clearly drunk and slurring speech and said, look, dude, sober up. Do not call 911 anymore.
Third warning.
This message went unheeded, and he called 911 about 90 minutes later, repeating his complaint that his wife had become
A black
widow spider. So he was arrested on a charge of misusing the 911 system. No comment from his wife or any spiders who may have been involved.
Yeah.
Not as lighthearted of a foray into the world of alcoholism, perhaps,
No.
as we thought from the book that it would be.
I have to
I
tell
love
you.
his mugshot, though, because that's just like, what?
What? Where's my spider? I'm getting kind of lonely. So the 1956, and this happened in North Carolina. People collect. Obviously, you know that Graceland is a big destination for a lot of people. A lot of people collect the music of Elvis.
I know.
Memorabilia.
I know two separate women who have
All the town of jail. Thank you very much.
who have proudly proclaimed that the most treasured possession they have is one of his silk scarves. Remember, he used to wear like 20 of them around his neck?
And he'd throw them to the
and he would
crowds.
dab his sweat from his forehead and then throw them. And both of them say that is their most treasured possession. They have it framed in a case and it's on the mantle.
Well, you have to remember there's DNA in that, and they
Elvis sweat!
they could clone him,
They could clone an Elvis baby.
right?
It's
Like
entirely
a sheep.
maybe.
They could do that.
That's creepy.
So anyway, so Elvis, I guess, was there in 1956, and he, on stage, in the view of everyone, drank some water out of a Dixie cup. He then crushed it and dramatically threw it aside. And then someone decided to pick it up and save it until this year. So 1956 till now, and decided that he was going to put it up and let people bid on eBay. What do you think? I'm going to hide this.
So it was listed for $1,000.
Right.
A crushed Dixie cup with the possible imprint of a Elvis lip.
And I like the word possibly.
I think it would go for double that, like at least $2,000.
$1,280.
No, it actually went for $3,300.
Oh, did
I'm
it?
sorry that I'm destroying the end of your own thing, but yeah,
You-
the final bid was $3,300.
Oh, that I was going to make fun of the people for buying it in the first place,
then
and now
they-
it's even worse.
My favorite part is that she also charged them shipping. It's like, really, a $3,300? You can't just
Throw
put
the
it in a
Dixie
box
cup.
and send it out for free. Cause
We had a celebrity. This is back when Archuleta, David Archuleta, was pretty big stuff. This is back when
he is always big stuff in our hearts.
Yes, what do they call him? The supporters of him, Archuletas, the David. They have a nickname anyway.
They all do.
So we had an opportunity to sit and bring some radio listeners in. There was about 35 or 40 people right up close to him, within like 6 feet. And he brought a keyboard with him, and he sang some songs. Now, I did notice, this is funny, there's a parallel here. We gave him a bottle of water, right? And he just took it and took little David Archuleta sips out of it. And then he thanked everybody. It was really kind of fun to see someone sing like that close. And then I noticed the water bottle. So I had him sign it. And then we went on the radio and told people what we have. And the interest in this bottle.
That was genuinely surprising.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was genuinely surprising.
And we had it on film. We knew this was the bottle. So we gave it away.
You must be so proud.
Some crazy person. How much did it sell for, the Dixie cup again?
$3,300, and then they still charged shipping, which seemed unfair at the time,
That's weird.
right?
Yeah. All right. So this man arrested. You have that story?
I do not have that story.
don't
I was
either.
trying to subtly look it up while we were talking about
Let's
it.
just skip that one.
We'll wait for tomorrow, and then we'll
All
share
right.
it with you then, because it was a really weird story.
You know what I think? First of all, goodbye, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on the Todd and Erin morning stream. I think with the John Huntsman thing in Russia, with the water and the bathing suit thing, I really think we missed the mark on that.
How so?
Because I think it was missing something.
What would it be missing?
See what the guys have come up with. Go ahead, guys.
It's a
See
triple
ya.
dip. Good luck.
Oh, yeah.